Welcome back for another video. It's Eharbad, and we are not going to talk about the fusion at all. Actually, we might do that in a separate video. We're going to talk about Hydra, and basically I want to try and push my Hydra Nightmare damage up considerably. So last week I finally got around to building a new team, which if we go to team setup, basically replaced this team, although I wasn't running Razzlevag as lead. I was running Necmo as lead and Newt there. So this has now become my brutal team, at least at the moment. And we now have a new Nightmare team here. Now, on the first week that I ran it, we managed, 734 million damage. We did hit turn cap. And to be honest, there's a lot of room for growth. Not only can you see we only have one blessing set, so 5 people have no blessings, 4 people have 0 awakenings whatsoever in terms of stars. Androck had a 1 star and hadn't decided which path I was going to take him on. And to be honest, none of the builds had been completely min-maxed or optimized. Shamil was pretty much the closest to being optimized. But everyone else was kind of, Grazur and Michinaki were in my brutal team previously. And over time, obviously, your gear power does tend to grow. And it had been a while since I'd kind of re-geared them, basically. And if we jump back into the game right now, and we go and take a look at these champions, we can have a quick look at the builds as they are. And I've been going through doing some kind of re-gear planning. I haven't planned what I'm going to do with Androck, but I have decided I'm going to go with Cruelty. I think getting Cruelty in the team is going to help considerably. Like, it will just net increase the damage I do. It's a little bit frustrating that we only have one AoE hit here, that this one does not hit the enemies, so we're not going to stack Cruelty that fast. Obviously, it would be preferable to have it on Eharbad, who basically, because this is an extra turn, tends to cycle more quickly and get more AoE hits out. Equally, Grazur would be a good candidate, as every ability is AoE. And obviously, also, we'd love to have Grazur and Slayer, but I don't have the gear for that. So right now I went 8-piece protection with 1-piece stone skin because I was trying to get to the 9-piece. I thought, why don't I just build 8-piece, and when we eventually get the 9th, it will slot in nicely. In the masteries, I kind of initially set him to try him in arena. Didn't massively love it. And obviously we got the offense to help a little bit in Hydra, but these need to be redone. In terms of stat, I mostly just went for high speed. Obviously wanted to crit cap him for his passive, and then there's just sort of general stats thereafter. If we look at Grazur, I currently have him in Relentless. I have looked at a few different options. He'll probably stay in Relentless, to be honest. Right now, again, a solid build, 260 speed, 200% crit damage, a bit low on defense, but I generally, because we're running increase resistance, I need about 300 resistance once we factor in area bonuses, so a little bit extra beyond what I need, and I'll need about 350 once we factor in area bonuses. So there's a little bit of room for growth overall there by sacrificing some resistance and accuracy. Eharbad is in Cursed, helps me be a little bit more consistent. I have to have everyone crit capped because of Androck's passive. And again, we can just see the stat. Res, obviously a little bit low here. I'd like to boost that up a bit. I noticed that she was taking debuffs, particularly heal reduction was kind of a bit annoying. But, you saw we managed to last to turn cap anyway. Wallmaster is in 6-piece Merciless. There's no chance at the moment of getting 9-piece, to be honest. Really not in a good build anyway. And to be honest, there's a lot of space to grow. I wasn't hitting the 10% damage cap, so I need considerably more crit damage. once we factor in the area bonuses, I'm a little bit too high on the accuracy, not high enough on the resistance. I'll probably sacrifice a bit of speed and ultimately try and get that crit damage higher. Take a few less turns. Again, I was reaching turn limit. A lot of that comes down to the Androck passive, where we're getting so much turn meter, where everyone, fills this turn meter so quickly. So Michinaki will be staying in lethal, but again, I'll be increasing the damage. We again have too much accuracy. So there's kind of the same situation across the board. So we'll just be looking to min-max them. And I have kind of gone in, and if we go preset manager, you can see I've planned one for me to move two. You can see we're massively increasing the defense, a little bit of a loss of crit damage, and getting slightly higher on the resistance and accuracy. Again, I'm not quite hitting the resistance levels I'd want on everyone, but on most people I will be. I'll probably just throw a blood shield on someone to make sure that they're getting the mischief head's attention, but also I'm going to kill mischief fast enough, and I'm running block buffs from Wallmaster. So, and even if that all fails, Michinaki can strip as well. So there's lots of options. Shamil is probably in the best build I have from all of them. 250 speed, 320% crit damage. Again, if we apply area bonuses, you can see we're hitting 330, 263 speed. But again, even this, I found I have a little bit of room to grow. And again, we go into the preset manager, and I've gone in and planned a slight tweak. So we're getting an extra 10% crit damage and another 95 attack. So a little bit, and full speed. A little bit of room to grow. And it looks like the only thing that's really changed, it's a bit weird the way they do this. I'm not 100% sure with the preset manager, because it's kind of, I would like a way of kind of just equipping them all. I don't know. And then it kind of takes you out. So you have to click this. Then if I go out now, you can kind of see what I'm changing. So there's a few pieces being moved around. Ultimately, we're getting a crit damage. So we're losing a cruel set and gaining a crit damage set, which is going to increase the overall damage, particularly on the A3, where we're always attacking with 3 buffs. So yeah, I've kind of planned Shamil, Michinaki, Wallmaster, Grisur, and Eastrid's rebuild. Androck I still need to do. So what we're going to do right now is pop one of these free gifts. We can then go through the rebuilds that I've done. I'll then work out the Androck one, and we'll jump into a battle and see how much I can move the needle in my mission to try and get to 1 billion damage on Nightmare. So you can see the Grisur one, we're gaining 1300 defense. We lose a tiny bit of speed, gaining 25% crit damage. And not really, we're losing a little bit of resistance and a little bit of accuracy, but not too much. In terms of, are there any further gains we could have? I'm so light on glyphs at the moment. It's such a problem. I could maybe give a slightly bigger glyph on the resistance there. Only got +1. I don't have any 6-star glyphs, which is kind of annoying. Here we do want to re-roll this, get crit damage. That would be quite impactful. This would obviously be nicer as defense, but it is what it is. And I think ultimately we're actually going to have to just ascend this to get the extra resistance. And I think that will be enough once we then factor in the area bonuses. We're hitting roughly that 300, which once I've then got increased resistance should pretty much be okay. And it's a pretty solid build overall. I have stayed in Relentless. I did try and look about moving into Reflex. Ultimately, I'd want to move into Slayer. Really kind of get this 9-piece, but even the 6-piece would be great. Massive TM fill plus ignore defense. But I can't do it. It's simply the answer. I tried. I don't have the I don't have the pieces. On Eastrid, if we go here, I do need to sort out my Padraig as well. So that's something we're going to have to look at. So basically, once I've done these builds, sort out Androck, before I jump in, we're going to have to fix some other bits. What are we gaining? A tiny bit of speed. I'm a little bit too high on the crit rate, but this glove has rolled crit rate, so we could probably at some point look at swapping that to something else. Crit rate gloves with extra crit rate, so it's kind of a bit obscene. But I'm sacrificing a lot of defense here, and I'm not 100% sure whether this is actually going to work. But I am running increased defense pretty much throughout, although if anyone's going to lose the buffs, it is Eastrid. So this is the one rebuild that I'm not 100% sure about. A lot of it can come by changing the ring, to be honest. I can get a decent amount of defense back. Plus, we have the ability to go in here and just let's just use some glyphs. I use my big glyph? No, try and get 5%. Yeah, we got 5%. Excellent. And then we'll hope for 5% again. We didn't get it. We'll do another roll. Wait, we got it. And then on the HP, I also will need some HP. Oh, super lucky. I was rolling all min rolls earlier. So anyway, I'm a little bit concerned about the survivability on Eastrid, but I want to give it a go, and then we can see what happens. There is not much scope. I'd love to re-roll the boots, but yeah, that's kind of it, really. I'm struggling a little bit for materials. I still have quite a lot on the artifact side. There we go. That got a little bit of extra attack, but I have like no dust, and I have no T1 whatever it's called oil on from Shogun. So I need to be running some of that as well. Now, if we jump over to the Wallmaster one, fitting room, preset manager, I have kind of two options that I was playing with, and we can decide basically this one or this one. So what are we kind of getting? We're getting 3/4, 297. Here we get slightly more crit damage, basically, just a fraction more crit damage. But I think the other one, we have 2 more speed versus 5 more crit damage and slightly more attack on this one. I think there's 1 or 2 pieces that are different. So I'm going to stick with the first one that I had identified. That is going to break my Newt build, which is another champion I'm going to need to fix. Again, let's just jump in here quickly. We'll probably go with we're hoping for a +4. Come on. 2 will do. Use a 5-star flat defense, 5-star flat HP. We will go for the 6-star attack. I only rolled 4%. Again, getting crit damage here would be impactful. On the ring, we can also chuck in some glyphs. Come on. This is what I was getting earlier this morning when I was planning these rolls. And I glyphed the majority of the gear I was intending on putting on. And again, like just getting some extra survivability and a bit more damage is going to be helpful. +5 would be nice here on the attack percent. We got it eventually. 2 rolls. That's not too bad. And yeah, I mean, it's looking like a much better build now. If I go to the Hydra battles, I'm still a little bit low on the resistance. I need to work on that over time, but I'm hitting roughly the speed I was hoping for. I'll boost my survivability by quite a lot because of the passive that stacks extra HP. I could probably drop some defense in favor of resistance over time. I am running a defense percent chest at the moment. We can actually enchant that as well. Go for a +10 maybe. +9 will do. Again, we've got room to grow. Flat HP is not what we're going to want, and really defense percent's not what we're going to want long term either. The boots similarly would nice to be speed here or attack percent or something other than HP percent at 1 star. We can put that to 2 star. Why not? Get an extra extra 3% HP that way. Amulet, more crit damage. There's still room to grow, and obviously he's completely unblessed as well, so no awakening. So again, we're hitting pretty good stats given what we're working with. Preset manager again, click here, and you can see again we're gaining kind of good overall moves. Oh, that's annoying. I seem to have ended up with the same gloves on both my Grazur and my Michinaki build. And that's one of the failings. So we'll have to redo Michinaki. Let me just jump in and quickly get Shamil done. So you can see, even with Shamil, what are we doing? We're getting an extra 95 attack and 10% crit damage. So kind of all done except for Michinaki and Androck. Let me quickly run those, and then I need to try and clean up all the champions I've destroyed in the next 50 minutes. Right then, so I ended up using the Michinaki build I had. I tried rebuilding Michinaki instead, and it wasn't working, so I've rebuilt Grazur. So we're using this one instead of this one. You can see it's pretty similar overall. There's not like a huge amount of difference. We've lost a little bit of defense, a little bit of crit damage, but he will be okay, I think. We do have scope to kind of recover that. I'm going to delete that old one, and we have scope to recover that if we eventually get some more dust and get this to a crit damage main stat. But yeah, otherwise let's just do our usual send 2 levels. Attack, sadly, not really what I wanted, at least not for this champion. And again, I'll do my 2 levels here. Defense, bit better for Grazur. And that is where we are on him. So we've now rebuilt Eastrid. This is what I was talking about. We rolled crit rate on the Ascension. So in theory, that could be changed in the future, but I won't waste dust on it, to be honest. Allmaster's done, Michinaki's done, Shamil is done. I just need to do Androck. I'm just going to whack him in a damage build, to be honest. We'll see. When we eventually are able to do the 9-piece protection, that's obviously going to make a big deal for the overall team, but I don't have an amulet, basically. But again, I'll be right back once I've got a build for Androck. Right then, we are back and the fight is ongoing. You can see, we only got 50 odd turns left before it ends due to turn limit. We're not going to hit the 1 billion mark. We will obviously do a new PB, because my previous PB was less damage than I currently have. It was 734 million. And I think we will hit 800, certainly. Might do a little bit more than 800, but we're going to fall short of the 1 billion. So a bit of RNG would probably help us. Obviously, if I did it full manual, that would help as well. Otherwise, we're just going to have to keep on boosting these stats up, keep on working on the gear, get some more gear ascension. I don't think there's any sort of changes to the champion composition that I could do given my roster that would outperform this. I think this is definitely the best overall team that I have available. It could be an argument that maybe I could swap out Androck, but I would need a secondary provoke mechanism, and I don't think I'd do more damage, to be honest. I think that's kind of the reality. It is basically a full auto team. I just do the click targeting. There's a couple of little watch outs if you do end up with a situation where Wrath gets cleansed or block buffs gets resisted or whatever, and you end up with reflect damage. That's bad. I have no revive, and reflect damage is a bit of a killer. As a result, it did break an earlier test run that I did. I just literally did a full auto test run, and I went and I went for a run, came back, found that it had failed halfway through the key, and I had actually left it recording, so I went and checked the recording, and it was a Thorian who had suicided, basically. Yeah, if I compare the damage in this key versus my previous key, bizarrely, Authorian's actually done less damage this time. So I would guess that's RNG related, because his build is definitely considerably stronger. And he's definitely hitting those A2s are much harder now than he was before. Grazur has added about 13 million, Michinaki about 20 million, just shy of. Eastrid, most of that's going to be coming from Cursed, but an extra 10 million attributed there. Androck's gone from 8 million to 29 million. So actually, one of the biggest gains of damage has been me moving Androck from a pure support build into a damage build. He's not currently running Warmaster, so that is another option for me. Shamil has added about 10 million as well. So overall, we did break the 800 million mark, but we are still quite some way away from a billion. So the road to a billion keeps on going. I will keep that result. I have a mission to do today. Obviously, getting blessings on Grazur, Michinaki, Thorian, and Eastrid would be very impactful. Firol would also be a champion who would potentially change up the team I'm running. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy overall. Like, it's it's a lot of damage. I know it's nothing compared to like a Yannick or Wixwell, and it's nothing compared to a Trunda team. But you know, for me, I'm still pretty proud of that. Let's go and look at the builds one last time. And maybe I should go through the AI setup. So Androck, not currently in a ignore defense composition, so that's another option. 300 speed, 7k defense, 100% crit rate, 276% crit damage. And if we give the old Hydra battles, actually 312 speed, 288% crit damage. And 14% ignore defense. So I could, for Hydra, I could actually reduce this accuracy. I don't use any debuffing from him, so that is something I could do. Probably move up the crit damage. I could probably move him into Savage or Lethal, but I don't really want to put my best damage dealing gear on Androck, to be honest. But maybe in the quest of hitting the billion, I'll do it as a one-off. And the other one is moving down to Warmaster. I was testing him out originally in Arena, which is why I went for the support, and then wanted to do him in Hydra, so I went down the offense, and now it's a bit of a mess, these masteries, so I need to tweak them up. Otherwise, you know, there's still some glyphing I could do, gear ascension I could do, and that's kind of the case across the board, to be honest. So there's definitely room for improvement. If we look at Grazur, we're in Relentless. Obviously, Slayer would help significantly beyond what we currently have. But overall, it's a pretty solid build overall. 267 speed in the Hydra, 4.5k defense, 240% crit damage, enough resistance and enough accuracy to land your debuffs, and then 14% ignore defense. If I can get more live arena done, I can boost that up. Eastrid is in Cursed and Speed, and we're basically 300 speed, actually a little bit more when we go to Hydra. 312 speed, a little bit too much crit rate at the moment, enough resistance, enough accuracy, 106% crit damage, decent amount of attack. The defense and HP was sufficient. Didn't really feel like she was ever in any risk, so I think reducing the defense to that level was fine. I would like to obviously remove the 11% excess crit rate and get more either attack or crit damage. But I need basically different cursed pieces. I need more cursed gear to be able to fit it in the way I want to. Wallmaster or Thorian, we are in that 6-piece Merciless. Obviously, 9-piece would be nice, but we're not there yet. In terms of total stats, again, let's go for the Hydra battles. 258 speed, 309% crit damage, enough accuracy, a little bit light on the resistance. This should be closer to 300, so he will get debuffed, which is kind of annoying. And a little bit light on the actual attack because we're running a defense percent chest. So I would much prefer that this was attack percent, but currently it is not. Actually, accuracy would be fine because then I could swap the banner to an attack banner instead. But attack percent I would prefer even than that. So there are options there. We are in a 5-star ring, so there's more room for growth there. Plus, none of the jewelry has been ascended, and obviously the chest is only a 2-star flat stat, and the boots have room to grow as well. So there's a lot of options there to continue boosting the build. Michinaki, in the end, is 5.7k defense, 268 speed, 100% crit rate, 256% crit damage. Again, enough accuracy. Too light on the resistance. He was getting stripped by Mischief every so often. I might have to try and find a way of redirecting Mischief away from Michinaki. I don't know why he kept going for Michinaki, to be honest. Other Michinaki and Thorian don't quite have enough resistance, but everyone else does, so it's kind of annoying when he was going for Michinaki. Shamil, reflex crit damage, total stats, let's go into Hydra again. 6k attack, 267 speed, 340% crit damage, enough resistance, and I don't care about the accuracy. So yeah, that is kind of that. I do wonder about moving Shamil from Phantom Touch to either Crushing Rend, which would really only benefit as A1, or to Heavencast. But I'm not convinced either way currently, and I don't want to get it wrong and then have to spend 300 gems to move it. So it will stay as it is for the time being. If we go and actually look at the presets, I have Gazur using the A3 first, and then the max HP damage second. Again, another thing that would be potentially possible is if we had Gazur in a reflex and we did it manually, we just wouldn't use the A3 unless the Head of Decay is out, and we'd just try and cycle A2 more. Michinaki, similarly, we have basically I'm prioritizing the Hex and the Strip, and then decreased defense and kind of opening with decreased defense. And even this, to be honest, I'm actually thinking that this should be the other way around. So I think we might do that next time, prioritize the decreased defense. I'm not so fussed. Typically, they don't have any buffs to be removed. And typically, I should have Hex out from Eastrid anyway. So this is kind of like a secondary source of Hex. So maybe I'll try a run with this configuration and see if that does better work. The Thorian, I had him opening with his A3 and then using the A2, but to be honest, actually, I don't think I need to. And I partly did that because I wasn't previously opening with the decreased defense, so I didn't want him to waste his A2. So I think we can switch it to that for next week. Eastrid, we are opening with the increased speed, increased attack, but we're prioritizing the AoE hit with decreased speed and weaken, and then she'll just use her A3 whenever it's available. I'm not 100% sure whether this is the right way around of doing it. We could leave it that this is number one, but I don't know. It's I don't want to use extra turns. Basically, is what I'm trying to limit. On Androck, I have banned Metamorph. I don't want him going into his alternate form, and then I'm prioritizing buffing ourselves and then hitting the enemies. and then obviously the A1 is the last thing he'll do. Even this, similarly to Grazur, there's an argument that I could have him in reflex and turn off the A3 and only use it after people have been devoured, and try and really just increase the duration and constantly be increasing the duration of buffs across from Androck and Grazur, and I'd have to run it manual, but that might end up with higher damage. Otherwise, Shamil, it's just use your A2 as much as possible. Obviously, 3-turn cooldown, and we have reflex, so it ends up being available pretty frequently. Yeah, so that is that. That's the showcase. 805 million is where we're at. We're going to keep trying to push. Hopefully, we'll make the 1 billion fairly soon. But for now, we're still some way away. So anyway, wish me luck. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.